This is the Canon EOS 80D. It was released way back in 2016, making this a 4-year-old camera, almost 5-year-old camera now. It has a 24.2 megapixel APS-C CMOS sensor, the famous Canon dual pixel autofocus. It shoots stills up to 7 frames per second. It can do 1080p video up to 60 frames per second. It has a fully articulating touchscreen, a little screen on top, a built-in flash to blind people like Will Smith did in Men in Black. It has a headphone jack, microphone input, mini HDMI, USB, Wi-Fi, NFC, and the body weighs 730 grams. But is this DSLR still worth buying in 2020? What's going on, guys? Gary Yaman here, back at it again with a new video. Hope everybody feeling safe and is fine. Let's begin right away with this video about the Canon EOS 80D. The main question that I have here is this camera still worth buying in 2020? And the answer is simply a hard, solid no. Before I'm going to dive into the reasons why I don't recommend this camera in 2020 or buying this camera brand new in 2020, I'm gonna talk about the things that I actually really like about this camera, and that is, first of all, the build quality. You know, how this camera is built and how it feels in the hand. Very solid, very robust. It feels like a tank, it looks like a tank, and you know, the overall functionality of this camera is really well built. We got the SD card slot on the side, not at the bottom, which I really like. The battery is at the bottom, and the battery life is really good as well. Charge it once and you will be happy for several days. The little screen on top is really helpful and really nice. The flippy screen, or the fully articulated screen, that is also a touch screen, very easy to use with, very nice. And overall, all the buttons feels really solid, really premium and nice. Nothing really feels like cheap at all. But I wish it has an extra dial. We only got this one here at the bottom, or at the top end of the camera. I wish we had a little extra one at the back as well to change the aperture or change ISO much quicker. We do got this little wheel here, but I really don't like that. And switching between photo and video, it's a little bit weird because the screen will go out if you switch from video back to photo, because then it goes automatically to the optical viewfinder stuff. So can it actually produce nice photos? The answer is simply yes, it can produce nice photos. Here are some examples as well. Don't expect the best out of the best. Don't expect very clean images on higher ISO levels, for instance. You know, and overall it just takes great pictures. So don't worry about that if you want to buy this camera. You know, expect great results straight out of camera as well. JPEGs are actually looking really nice. So what about video? It can shoot 1080p up to 60 frames per second, but to be real honest, the 1080p coming out of this camera is good enough for online things or for sharing on your social, but if you really want to have cinematic footage and all that stuff, you know, you have to really put in some extra work in it. It does not have C-Lock or anything, so you have to have at least a nice lens for it to get the best image quality coming out of this camera for video. But for me personally, you know, using this for professional work is something that I cannot recommend. But for YouTube videos, just like this for instance, it will be really helpful, or for vlogging and stuff around. Casey Neistat uses this camera for vlogging, so back in the day at least. So yeah, for vlogging, YouTube stuff, really helpful, but for real, like high production level kind of things, I wouldn't use this camera. The overall performance, the autofocus performance, it has that famous Canon dual pixel autofocus, and it works really well, as you see here in the following samples. And you know, there are no like real hesitations, and it works perfectly fine. So it seems like that I really like this camera, right? But I cannot recommend it, and that is simply because there are many alternatives out there with the similar features or even better features for even lower price or similar price. This one, just the body, the Canon EOS 80D, comes in around 900 bucks, US dollars that is. Here in the Netherlands it will cost you around 1000 euros. So that is quite a lot of money for a camera that cannot do several things that other cameras can do for a lower price. If we look at the mirrorless lineup from Canon itself, we got the Canon EOS M50, and that one will cost around 600 bucks or something, and with a nice lens we got a similar price but with more features. We got dual pixel autofocus, we got 4K, we got a smaller footprint because that camera is just way smaller, and overall the image quality coming out of it is similar or even better sometimes than this Canon EOS 80D. For 100 bucks more we can get the Canon EOS RP, which is a full frame sensor camera, and you can also have access to the new RF lenses. So you know, this for 900 bucks that is not full frame, cannot do 4K, it's a tough sell. And also if you look at the other brands such as Sony, for instance, we got the Sony a6100, the a6400 that comes in below that price point and offers also 4K, offers fast autofocus, reliable autofocus, and also many lenses. Also we got Fujifilm with the X-T20 or X-T30. You know that these are also great options. So there are many alternatives out there, and if you are somebody that you know, works really hard to save up their money, then I would spend that money for something that gets me the most bang for my buck, if you know what I mean, right? If I got 900 bucks to spend, I would spend it to something that can do a lot of things. And this just falls behind, and that's the reason why I cannot recommend this camera. You know, for 900 bucks there are just many alternatives out there. Keep in mind though, you know, if you got this camera, if you really want this camera, I would suggest buy this one not brand new but second-hand or used. So yeah, I don't hate this camera by all means. You know, I like using this camera, but I also know for this amount of money there are just better options out there. All right, that's all guys. Thank you again for watching. Subscribe to the channel if not already, like the video, comment down below, and as always, stay safe and stay healthy. Good luck.